Hey, did you hear? He's doing it. He's making another video about Butch Hartman. Get over here, guys.
Well, shit, it finally happened. I reached the first and last goal I'll probably ever hit, so I'm gonna go ahead and cherish the moment. As any person who's been on YouTube for more than an hour knows, once a content creator is able to achieve a goal they never thought they'd reach, they usually make a video either celebrating the goal or doing some sort of request they've been getting for a while up the ass. I don't have the painfully annoying luxury of getting emails from every orifice about some shitty Let's Player to talk about, so what's better than going back to my roots? Anyone who knows about my channel knows about my Butch Hartman video. I can't blame anyone if they think of that video when they think of me, since it really blew up. It could be a gimme to viewers who've watched more than just that video, but I have come to hate my Butch Hartman video with a passion. It was rushed, I barely put any effort into it, and assumed it would gain maybe 100 views tops before I made another, better video. And crap, that did not go as expected. The weird quirk about getting a popular video when you're a small channel is it's jarring, straight out of nowhere, and you have no control over how it'll happen. I was making videos long before my Butch Hartman rant. In fact, I had even made 2 other videos denouncing Hartman in a similar, better edited fashion, while still being very terribly edited because I still used iMovie at that point.
You know, a large amount, not all, but a large, John Travolta-sized amount of people on the internet are straight up moronic assholes. People watch my videos, they must be stupid. Oh, wait. Never mind. Maybe there aren't as many of those people as I thought.
Getting into my so dark past, I was a reaction commentator, making the typical decoded feminist frequency in BuzzFeed videos. Then I started watching people who made reviews of channels and such and thought, I want to do that. Most of my main inspiration came from people like, I don't know, Turkey Tom, LS Mark, Daft Peanut, who were really new at the time when I first started making videos. Unfortunately, roads to improvement are paved with failure. I was no different than many others who changed content type over time, but I couldn't face my shame and deleted the videos during and before the transition. Do I wish I kept those videos? Mostly not, but some were better than others.
For anyone who wants to know, the last time I edited with iMovie was on the Oh Yeah Corey video.
My other 2 Butch Hartman videos weren't special. Simply put, if you've seen Ellis Mark's video on Butch, you've seen my deleted videos. I've lost all respect for Butch Hartman was different from others. That's why it got popular. It was one of the leaders of a newly forming bandwagon, but it was different for all the wrong reasons. I haven't deleted it because of how much of an impact it made for my channel originally, and analytics would definitely screw me over for deleting it, but trust me, I have no other video I'd rather take down. I had no script, I had no editing, I was blinded by rage, and I recorded at my grandparents' house on an iPhone 6 Plus. It was terrible. Every time I look at it, I feel like an unintentional Sammy Classic Sonic fan, a guy who just doesn't know what he's talking about as a kid with poor video quality and a poor avatar. Keeping with the theme of celebrating a milestone, what better to take another look at than someone who kicked me off in the beginning? To be honest, I'm happy it took this long for me to reach this point, since if I had reached it sooner, I'd be accused of trying to get back on the bandwagon, but the bandwagon is long left. He hasn't been popular in like forever. Look up Butch Hartman rants. You have Ellis Mark's video from like 2 years ago, this guy, and this fucking virgin. I'm so far off the bandwagon I can't even find the indention from the trail. With the argument for this video's existence out of the way, let's see how far our main man Butch is doing with his successful Kickstarter. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Butch, baby, honey, sorry. Not sorry you got this treatment, because it was kind of a little while coming, but sorry you torture yourself still making videos despite a huge fall from popularity and having much less people who actually like you. That's a fate worse than death. Why do you keep coming in and out of the YouTube scene, Grade? I mean, come on. Butch's deflation in viewership is almost as apparent as his deflation in avatar. I'm gonna guess that represents him losing his ego over time. Back in 2018, he was growing at an alright rate. Then July happened, and he never really recovered after that massive hit. For those who don't know the situation, back in my day, in June of last year, Butch Hartman, creator of Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, and other stuff no one really cares about, launched a Kickstarter for his new streaming service, Oaxis Entertainment. Red flags immediately went up because of both the impracticality of having an entire network for family-friendly content and the low asking price it gave. But in the Kickstarter, he wanted to make several new animated shows, dramas, and so on for kids, but he could barely do anything with $250K. For comparison, that was the average price of a single Boondocks episode. Granted, the Boondocks was a high-quality show, but if you want something of a decent animation quality for even a single show that's animated, you're gonna need at least $50,000 an episode. At the end of his campaign, Butch first begged many of his followers to support him, since he was clearly not going to reach his goal. Then miraculously on the final day, he got the several thousand he was short. What a coincidence! Foul play was obviously expected due to Butch's own wealth reaching over $50 million he could easily partially contribute at any time. At the same time, during the end of his campaign, videos came out with Butch mentioning the site would be Christian-based, and while there's nothing wrong with that on its its own, Butch never mentioned that in his campaign at all until the very end, enraging many people following the story, including me. Word of advice to Kickstarter creators, be fully open about each and every detail, including ones you may find minor because someone else may think otherwise. I know that's a general mindset that most people who have Kickstarter should have, but I'm just reminding them so they don't end up like Butch. Butch didn't do that and looks scummy because of it. Now that he hasn't done scummy acts like that leading up to the reveal, but I digress. Butch has been bleeding subs ever since, and he can barely scavenge 60,000 views on a video at best with over 740,000 subscribers. I'm gonna take the piss out of how much of a mess Butch's channel status has become and generally mock him. I won't talk about anything before the Oaxis controversy because honestly, where's the fun in that? I mean, we already know what he was like back then. We need to know what he's like now, goddammit. I never looked at Butch's channel after the controversy and consistently didn't for multiple months. I mean, who would look? Why give him the attention? After breaking my sober and taking a peek, I found myself in a world of confusion. Butch has gone off the rails. He noticed his decline in power and decided the best way to reach new viewers was just to be other people. He wants to be behind the meme, he wants to be Phantom Strider, he wants to be blaming on George, he wants to be Screen Rant, he wants to be Draw with Jazza, he wants to do Let's Plays. What? Someone check in on Butch. I think he's having a midlife crisis right now. It's been a month since the accident. It's gone. It's time to tell the truth. What was I thinking? I could be wrong about this, but Butch definitely killed someone and has their eye up on his mantelpiece somewhere. Am I the only one getting these vibes? Please tell me I'm not. He's even ripping off Cosmodor. I shall now go through the most common arguments about Butch in a little song so I don't drone on about well-known criticisms he still shows today.
He makes constant clickbait, random shit takes, wants to be like fellow kids. Thinks he made all our childhoods, but we don't know half the shit he did. Massive ego, tons more deceit, thought he could trick all of us, but it all ended in his defeat, though he didn't have a total bust. Oh, the Nick vids, we get it, Butch, you worked there once. Friend content from the stuff we think we'll see. Hey, at least now, he's a YouTube nobody, and we won't have to deal with this shit because Oaxis is a sinking ship, and he'll just have to deal with it.
Sorry about my singing voice, but there it is. More insight on these topics can be found on the Ellis Mark video. Maybe now you'll understand why both I and many others still have somewhat of a grudge against him. I don't absolutely hate the guy now like I used to, but he still seems way too artificial for my taste. Please don't sue me, Butch Hartman. Now it's time to talk about Oaxis, both where it was and where it currently is. Everyone knew Butch had a small ego problem at the time, but he helped reinforce it with his Kickstarter rewards. What do I mean by this? Well, his $5 tier is a thank you. There isn't even a $1 tier for a thank you. You need $5 for my thanks, pay piggy. And then he just skips to $25 with a phone wallpaper. Nothing that special other than it being a Butch Hartman original, which you'd assume anyway. 50 and 70 were both shoutouts. 100 is just a Butch Hartman original piece of art you don't even get to choose. If you want to be able to choose what you get, that'll be a hefty $250, buddy. If you want Butch to draw what you wanted, try $500. For $1,000, you get to be topped by the one and only Butch Hartman. And then for a measly $5,000, you get to talk to Butch Hartman. Breathe it in, you will be in the presence of a king. Obviously, at the end of the campaign, when everyone was angry, many wanted their money back, but as you can tell by the comments, multiple didn't. Hey, though, it made money despite shady circumstances. Everyone made their videos in outrage, and we all awaited more info about Oaxis. And we waited. And we waited. And we waited. God damn it, Butch! Seriously, not one update, no videos? He was so happy talking about Oaxis all the time, and after finishing up, gone, no info. Maybe taking a look at the website will help. The minute I found the website for Oaxis, I knew something was up. It looked like an independent programmer's placeholder to get work. What looks like stock images, the website itself isn't finished, and simple text on a white background. One of the first sentences you're shown.
Welcome. You're home. We're glad you're here.
So that sounds like a nice warm welcome to me, the same kind of welcome the Sawyers would give you at their dinner table before killing and eating you. The page has almost no info as to anything they've actually done on their own so far with the money other than a 50-second promotional video. When the tagline says look what we've done, it's talking about the commercial. So what the hell, why not take a look at the commercial and see what they've made? The first few seconds is just saying all the things Oaxis is or will be other than finished. Next we get Butch on a green screen doing something related to superheroes. I suppose he's the lead in one of his shows? Then the commercial shows 3 shots of different films. Why? Only 10 seconds in and I need to remind you this is about your programming. Last time I checked, Oaxis was all originals. How many selective kids movies will you be able to get the rights to show? Probably about 5 really popular movies with all the Kickstarter money you got. For their game selection, Butch didn't even try to hide it. He put up his Nuke Network game that no one ever cares about. Action and competition look like it could be original to Oaxis, but that's only because of the low quality. But I'm thinking these clips may have been taken off YouTube. They seem a bit too low quality even for this network, which I'll be surprised if this is actually shown on it. Finally, we see the plan to have a mobile, and we also see this isn't their actual build so far since it has Toy Story 4, a recently released movie, on the build. My best bet is that this is nothing more than a Photoshop layout rather than a finished model for the service. In short, Butch and his company to this day have taken over $250,000 and after nearly a year have nothing to show for it but a video showing what they should be like in the future and a website with no information, early makeups, nothing. We all expected this a year ago, didn't we? I know I was thinking this, but who knows? Possibly in another year everything will be out. The families will be loving it, Butch will be swimming in money, but even if that's the case, I won't talk about it much. Not ever again. I only made this video to have some fun and make jokes at Butch's expense for how everything has come crashing down for him, and as a special, since my original Butch video got me on my way. Never doing this again, so you can hold my word to that. Alright, I'm gone. Thanks for 500 again, means the world to me. Have a good day. I also tweeted about what I might want to make this video like, and want to give a random shout out to the one guy who replied, Dueling Duelist Drew, who recommended Common Sense Media. Talked to him a few times, and though I don't think his video idea could make a full-length video, plus it's similar to my last video about, 1 million moms, I want to mention him quick. I know he has also dealt with Butch in the past. Okay, good night, for real this time.